Welcome to Coffee with Citrin Cooperman. I'm your host, Meyer Mintz. Coffee with Citrin Cooperman is a video series in collaboration with Commercial Observer that features engaging interviews with esteemed real estate executives. The purpose of the series is to dive into the pressing matters affecting the industry and your respective businesses. Today I'm joined with Linda Foggie, Citi's Global Head of Real Estate Operations. Thank you for joining me, Linda.
Absolutely, you're most welcome.
So I know banks have a lot of real estate, and you were one of the first people to advocate everyone coming into the office. How successful has it been, and what have you guys done to help get people to want to come back?
Yeah, so we've had, it was a little bit of a slow start because our mandate for return to office came about quite some time ago, about 15 months ago. And so we slowly saw sort of a pickup in that. It's varied across the world. APAC is back. We're seeing very high show-up rates, even on Fridays. EMEA is somewhere in the middle, in the 70s, in terms of 70% in terms of show-up rates. And then in the Americas, we're starting to see people come back. 3 days a week is our mandate. And so it's going really well. In terms of getting people back, we've tried to think about how we redesign the office in such a way that it's conducive for the activities that people are really coming in for these days, which is less about individual heads down focus work and more about social connection and sort of collaborating together. So it's going really well.
So I know we're sitting here on Fifth Avenue, and I know Manhattan has been trying to get people to come back a lot. What have you been seeing in Manhattan specifically about people wanting to come back, and what are people looking for when they do come back?
It's interesting. I was talking to someone recently, and we were making a comparison really between New York and San Francisco. And the interesting thing about New York's real estate footprint is that it's heavily dominated by financial services. And as you pointed out, financial services has been quick on the draw with return to office and with the mandates and getting people back in. And I think it's really helped to re-energize the city because those people coming back into the offices really do help to support the secondary and the tertiary markets and businesses in the city. And so New York is booming. And in the middle of the week, it feels like pre-pandemic to me. So we're seeing very positive results in New York City compared to other parts of the country.
That's really encouraging. And, I know a lot of companies, originally pizza every Wednesday was great. What are you guys doing with technology, and how are you helping to use technology to get people to actually be more engaged once they come into the office?
So one of the things, I'm going to talk about a specific result that we're doing, a way we're using technology to help people. When they decide to make the commute to come into the office, we find that the highest and best use of their time, what they really want is to connect with other people that they work with. But it's a little bit difficult because while 3 days is mandated, the choice is up to people about which days. So it's kind of hard to coordinate it. So one of the things we're doing at Citi is rolling out our workplace app. And we just launched a new feature in there called My Circle. And this really helps people to coordinate their time in the office, to book into team suites and team rooms so that they can plan for collaborative activities. And they can know when their friends or other people and colleagues that they want to see are going to be in the office. So we've had really positive feedback about that.
That's really nice. We actually try and do that informally, but it's great that you guys are doing that. I know before COVID, it was easy. We all got in a room together. We had a meeting. We had a conversation. You guys are a global outfit. So before COVID, you probably had 2 or 3 conference rooms with people now. What are you doing in this hybrid environment to make sure the people who are not in the office feel included in the meetings?
Yeah, it's a great question. We're actually working really hard to try and design what we call an equitable experience. I mean, you're right. Before COVID, because our teams are so hyper global, our company is global, we always had hybrid meetings. Some people are there and some people are somewhere else dialing in. So we're really working with some of our technology partners to test out some immersive technologies, some technologies that create a little bit more equity in the meetings. For example, one of our partners is helping us to test a platform that puts on the screen each person in the room into their own box. So they seem similar to the people on Zoom. And so we're testing out these different technologies, seeing what works and trying to get feedback from people.
So are they going to have mute buttons on the people live, or that's not involved yet?
We have not gotten to that.
Oh, that would be great.
No comment.
So are you finding with all the technology that you have and everything going on in these meetings that it's kind of the same productivity as pre-COVID? Or is there still that little bit of a lag where, different people are not in the office and certain people are in the office and stuff doesn't get done as easily?
So, we tend to try and be very thoughtful about what we consider productivity. And productivity can be measured in different ways on different days, depending on the activity you're doing. And so what we do ask people to do is to be very intentional about how you lay out your work activities across the week based on where it is you plan to work for the day. Some activities in terms of, leaders being available for their teams, apprenticeship and mentorship of some of our less senior staff who are trying to learn the job, that's better in person. But heads down, focus work is more productive at home for some people. And so we give people flexibility. We ask them to make the right choices based on the activities they're doing for the day.
That's good. What about ESG and the other initiatives that you guys doing in Citi? How does the real estate play into all that?
We've decided to become really intentional about how we invest in the communities from a real estate perspective, thinking about where we locate our buildings. And then when we need to build those buildings or invest capital dollars in those projects and buildings, who we're spending those funds with, making sure that it's reflective of the communities that we live and work in, as well as our customer base, which is quite diverse as well. And so this year we were really proud to join the $1 Billion Roundtable. It's a group of 40 companies or so who have invested and spent $1 billion or more with small and diverse-owned businesses. We're really proud of this work. It's making a real impact in the community. And actually our people love it, the impact, the stories that we're able to tell. And when we hire those small and diverse businesses, they in turn hire diverse people. So it's just a circle of winning.
That's really important. So what other diversity programs do you guys have at Citi as far as just the employees?
One of the things is we're really focused on our pipeline of diverse talent, especially in leadership, in senior roles, and in segments like real estate where sometimes there is less representation. And so we're focused on developing the talent that we have in the business, recruiting new diverse talent into the business, and sort of growing up the base that we have. And we're doing that in a number of ways, but we've been really focused on that for the last few years, and we're finding good success with it.
That's great. And what about sustainability? I know that's a big thing also, and especially in New York and a lot of the larger markets where they're trying to lower the carbon footprint and lower the usage of some of the resources. What are you guys doing in that?
It's huge. It's really important for us. I do look after sustainability, and we do have our net zero goals. Our published goals are that we will be net zero or carbon neutral in our own operations by 2030. So not that long to go. A lot of work to do to get there in just 7 years, but we are being very intentional about it. We have set out our strategy and our path to get to net zero and reduce our greenhouse gases, not just by buying RECs and certificates, but also by actually reducing the amount of energy that our buildings are consuming. We're doing electrification projects. We're doing facade renovation projects to tighten the envelopes. And so it's a really exciting time to be in the sustainability group right now.
Is that also impacting what buildings you take on when you look for new space?
100%, probably more so than ever. This is an important part of our decision-making process when we're looking for a new building. If we're thinking about building a new building, we're working on some buildings in some of our European markets that will be hopefully completely net zero. We're about to build our first retail branch as net zero here in the great city of New York. So lots of activities happening there.
That's great. Thank you for joining me. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do.
Very nice to be here. Thank you.